10 seconds. Welcome everybody to a very special press conference here at Spa Francorchamps. We're joined this morning by, from left to right, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, Markus Duesmann, the CEO of Audi AG, Oliver Hoffmann, Chief Technical Officer of Audi AG, and Stefano Domenicali, President and CEO of Formula One. A very warm welcome to you all. Well, Markus, if we could start with you, please. There have been a lot of rumours, and you're now sat alongside the President and Stefano here at Spa. This is a very special moment for Audi. Please leave us waiting no longer.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. I'm really delighted to be with you here for this truly very special moment. And thanks for Stefano and Mr. President to share the stage with Oliver and myself. Yeah, I want to officially announce that Audi has officially registered as PU Formula One manufacturer. So we will, in 2026, start racing in F1.
That's fantastic news, Markus. Look, tell us a little bit more about why Audi has decided to enter Formula One.
Well, racing, motorsport is in the DNA of Audi. Audi has always been active and been successful in motor racing. And if you think about Le Mans or Rally Dakar, what we do now, DTM and Formula E, we have always been very active and very successful, and we want to continue this success story now in Formula One. And I think it's a perfect timing due to the new rules that are established now for us to enter F1. And there are many aspects. F1, we have decided to be a full electric car manufacturer. And F1 did change the rules in a way that we can enter with a very high electric part of the powertrain with renewable fuels. And Formula One have installed a cost cap that makes it very attractive for us to enter now.
You're entering in 2026. Why not come in sooner?
Well, the new rules are in place in 2026. And as we do a complete new powertrain, the combustion engine and also the electric side, that is not too long for us. So there's a lot of pressure on us to do that. We will set up operations we have motorsport facilities in Neuburg an der Donau, which is close to Ingolstadt, our headquarter. Certainly we have to bring them to F1 standards. That takes long. It is already ongoing. We have a fantastic team of people there, motorsport experienced people, but we also have to hire some new people. This takes some time. And as everything will be brand new, that is not long. In less than 4 years from now, we will be on the grid and racing in F1 races. This is not too long, but we are absolutely delighted and really happy to do that.
Thank you, Markus. Oliver, if we could come to you now, please. As Chief Technical Officer of Audi AG, can you tell us a little bit about the technical benefits that you expect to gain from Formula One, particularly around electric?
So first of all, we started to electrify our motorsport program beginning in 2012 with our hybrid cars at Le Mans. And we continued the path with Formula E and also with our Dakar project. We want to win the first car manufacturer, the Rally Dakar, with an electrified powertrain. So the logical next step is to entering Formula One. And we expect technically the most highly developed electric engines, and they will be as powerful as an internal combustion engine we expect for the next years. And our engineers will learn a lot about the next generation of electric engines, battery technology, and especially software. And we, Marcus and me and our whole team, we love the challenge in Formula One.
As Marcus said, there's a lot of work to do between now and 2026. Can you describe the scale of the challenge ahead for Audi as it prepares for Formula One?
So, as Marcus mentioned before, the Formula One is a pinnacle of motorsport. Yeah? And as I mentioned before, we started to electrify our motorsport program in 2012. We were the first winning Le Mans with a TDI. We were the first winning the Le Mans with a hybrid car. We were the first German car manufacturer winning the Formula E, and the next step is entering the Formula One. And there is a completely new reglement for 2026, which allows us to develop a lot more sustainable and electrified powertrain. And Marcus mentioned before, we will host our development for the powertrain in Neuburg, so powertrain made in Germany. And yeah, it's not a long way to 2026. We have to speed up, and I'm really happy to announce it today, and then we can officially work on the powertrain. I love this challenge.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Now, Stefano, if we could come to you next, please. Can we get your reaction to today's news from Audi?
Well, actually, it's a great day for the sport. And when there is a new journey starting, you see the emotion of the people involved, the positive emotion. It's a journey that started in a way many years ago. And personally, I'm very happy to see that now is coming to a real life, as you may understand. But it's good because Formula One is even an incredible moment today. And this is another step into the growth of what Formula One represents in terms of leadership of innovation, sport entertainment, and great technical challenges. And I think that hybridization with sustainable fuel is a direction that will enable manufacturers and teams to work very hard to keep the highest standard in terms, as I said, of new ideas that will be able to keep the manufacturer always with different solutions ready for the portfolio to offer to the customer. But we are a sporting platform, thanks to the FIA, because of the vision that we had together to that, allow the actual manufacturer to have other competitors. That's the beauty of the sport. That's the beauty of Formula One of today.
What does Audi's commitment say about the general growth of Formula One?
I'm sure that will be another step in the direction of the growth. It's awareness. It's a showcase of what Formula One can present to newcomers, but also we have a lot of respect for the ones that have invested in Formula One since many, many years. And it's a journey that we have started together, discussion, as always, compromises in order to find the best solution for everyone. And really, it's a great moment today. So thanks, Marcus, thanks, Oliver, and thanks also the other people of Audi that I see behind the scene that has been working so hard to make sure that this was happening today, officially.
Thank you, Stefano. President, coming to you now. Audi has had great success in other FIA World Championships. You must be delighted to see them joining the FIA Formula One World Championship in 2026.
First of all, it's a milestone. If you talk about Audi, I drove Audi in my career, and that was a very amazing experience to drive a four-wheel drive on the gravel, the speed, the sheer speed. The amusement. But this journey, as Marco said, and Stefano, it hasn't been an idea that just came now. But I would like to thank also the whole team, if it's the F1 or the Audi or also the FIA team. It took 6 months from my time, but to be here, this is where the fruits comes. Definitely, it's going to change a lot. I mean, if we didn't change in the FIA, the PU, we wouldn't have given the opportunity to new teams to come. There is no way a big manufacturer would come as a PU supplier if they don't have the chance. Nobody would go there to be humiliated. You see, this is the open time now, but the negotiation was a lot of and it ups and down, engaging all the time with Audi and with the teams and with Stefano. So the results are fruitful.
Exciting times ahead. And as you say, this is a ringing endorsement of the 2026 power unit regulations.
Oh yes, for the as the FIA PU of 2026, it is, and you know, we're talking also about, as both of us, all of us here said, about sustainability. One of the conditions I said, please, you know, show me sustainability, sustainable fuel, but it's more than that. It's the aerodynamics also in it. It's the whole package of the car there is allowing us. With these challenges of sustainability, you see, FIA is not part of the issue. FIA is part of the solution for the sustainability. So I'm very happy with the regulations. It took time, but we made it.
Fantastic. Thank you to all four. Let's open this to the floor now. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
Christian Mehnert, motorsportmagazin.com. For Mr. Hoffmann and Mr. Duesman, first of all, congratulations. But don't you fear you're already a bit behind, even though you haven't started yet? Because all your main competitors, they have all the facilities. Many of them, probably all of them, have already the lower part of the ice. Don't you fear you're already behind? Thanks.
Yeah. So first of all, it is really a big challenge to get this work done till 2026. You're fully right, but I think we find some compromises in the reglement that we are able to enter on eye high with all the other competitors, and we love the challenge. I said before, we were able to run the Dakar and develop the Dakar car, which is also a very complex drivetrain, in less than 1 year. And I think we will be able to develop this powertrain also till 2026. And again, thanks to FIA, thanks to Formula One, to find a way and a huge step forward in terms of sustainability with a clear focus on the electrified powertrain. And we have a lot of competences for electrified drivetrains in Neuburg, and so I'm really looking forward, and I think we will be on the stage in 2026.
Marcus, your thoughts on that?
Well, it's clear we are at the moment where we are, and the others have powertrains at work already. But the changes in the rules were big enough for us to see a chance to step in and be competitive. So thanks for the changes you made.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Next one.
Dieter Renken, Racing News 365. To the two Audi representatives, please. Your outgoing CEO, Mr. Herbert Diess, announced in May that the main board, had approved the entry to Formula One for two brands, namely Audi and Porsche. It's no secret that your road products share architectures, both body and chassis and power unit, with various products. Will there be any component sharing within your two Formula One programs, apart from those permitted by the regulation?
Well, you know, we raced Porsche in Le Mans with completely separate operations. And in this case as well, we will have completely separate operations. We will have our operations in Germany, and if Porsche enters, they will have their operations in the UK, completely separate.
Oliver, anything to add?
No, everything's said.
Okay, thank you. Next one, please.
Matthias Brunner, Speedweek, for Markus Duesman. Who is your chassis partner?
We haven't decided on that. We will inform you as soon as we know.
Thank you. Next one.
John Noble from motorsport.com to Marcus and Oliver. With Porsche likely coming as well, and the engine not being a big performance differentiator in Formula One due to an engine freeze, can you explain the thinking as to why the two companies in the same group are developing their own power units rather than pooling resources and saving a lot of money?
Well, you can imagine that was a huge discussion, but we decided, as we successfully, well, both our brands have a lot of fans, and both our brands have their special character, and that's why we decided to keep it completely separate and do two operations. Well, we had several reasons. We will have several different teams, and you know, the powertrain has to be designed is special for the chassis, yeah, and that's why we decided to split it, because we will have completely different chassis and so completely different powertrains.
To meet the timetable, so the integration work of the electrified side on the powertrain together with the chassis, it costs time to make it in 2 cars. So it's completely different operations, and the integration work we will do by ourselves.
Thank you. Next one.
Ralf Bach, Sport 1, TZ, F1's Insider, and some more. A question to Mr. Duesmann. Germany has a big problem with Formula 1 in the moment. No race, maybe no driver next year. And I know from Mercedes that you only have to support in Germany when you have a German driver. How is your idea for this for the future?
Well, certainly we haven't decided on a team, so we haven't decided on drivers. I hope we will have a German driver, and I hope we will have a German race. So that's all I can say.
Thank you. Another one.
Scott Mitchell-Mann from the race. It's a question to the 2 Audi representatives as well, please. You mentioned a couple of times you haven't picked a team yet, but I wondered, in terms of deciding how you wanted to go about an F1 program, why did you reach the conclusion that you did? Did you consider just being an engine supplier? Did you consider being just a works partner with an existing team, buying into a team? You had a lot of options there. Why have you settled on the route that you're going towards?
Well, the long lead is the powertrain. So we had to decide on the power unit, and that's what we announced today. The decision on the team is we will do within this year. So, and depending on the team, it will be a different way of engagement from our side. So we haven't decided how the team at the end looks like, but we will inform you then as soon as possible.
Next one.
Matt Q from Autosport. A question to Marcus and Mohammed. Legislation across the world is increasingly requiring manufacturers to move to fully electric road cars. So what does Formula 1 and an internal combustion engine offer to you that Formula E didn't?
Well, luckily the decision is to make the electric share and the powertrains much bigger, and to run the combustion engines with e-fuels, yeah, from sustainable sources. And e-fuels will play a role in the world, because the 2 billion cars that are on the roads, if we want to put them carbon neutral, yeah, e-fuel is a solution. What about planes, etc.? So Formula 1, by the decision to go to e-fuels, Formula 1 will push the e-fuel development a lot. Yeah, and so also Formula 1 has decided to become carbon neutral by 2030. Yeah, and that was the boundary condition for us to be able to decide that.
Thank you.
Yes. For the FIA side, as I said before, we're not part of the problem, we are part of the solutions. In the negotiations early this year was a very strong statement that we need to do something for the environment, and then with the sustainable fuel and with the electrification, that's one thing. But more than that, it's the aerodynamic also that the FIA technical department worked on, and that's what we will reach, is how much fuel you are using, what type of fuel, and then the electrification, and more than that, is the aerodynamics of the car, how it's stream, how it is it resistant? So we are aiming for 80%, and I believe that with talking to Audi, we will even achieve more than that.
Thank you. Next one.
Olivier Douy, de la dernière heure Les Sports. Question to Mr. President and Mr. Domenicali. Do you think and hope that the Formula 1 powered by Audi will have the opportunity, the chance to race here in this beautiful track of Francorchamps?
To race here, you mean? Yeah, I mean, Domenicali, I mean, Stefano would answer that. But I mean, to have another PU manufacturer, it's not just good for Audi, but you know, imagine the supplier. You have maybe 5, and then even more than that. And then the competition is there. Teams, whereas we say it, maybe the B teams will have an opportunity to decide with the supplier of the engine power unit. So to us, I raced in Belgium. I rallied here many times, so it's not new to me. I support any initiative, and I'm sure with Stefano we can work something, but Stefano will answer that question better than me.
Well, as you know,
We said the good cup, bad cup.
As you know, the official calendar will be submitted very soon to the World Council. But I read that so many times that Belgium is out. I would be prudent with this point. That's the only thing I can say.
Thank you.
Just to support you, we love the Eau Rouge, yeah?
All right. Thank you. Next one, please.
Michael Schmidt, Automotor and Sport. Question to the Audi representatives. How big is the operation which is going to build the power unit now? How big will it be in the end? And when will you have a facility up to Formula One standards, as you said before?
So first of all, this kind of numbers we do not announce, but part of the new reglement is also the cost cap, which we will really appreciate, and which was also for us important to enter Formula One. And so I think we will have starting the cost cap in this year and starting in 2023. The cost cap is also relevant for the power unit, and so I think we will see in 2026 nearly the same number of engineers and budget in the on the powertrain and on the chassis side, and this was also a reason for us to enter Formula One in 2026.
I think it does make sense to mention that we will spend as much money as we did spend for the other racing series before. So for us, it's not an additional spend.
Thank you. Next one.
Adam Cooper, motorsport.com. Question for Marcus initially. It's no secret, I think you hinted at it earlier, that Stefano was involved with Audi in a previous role. How useful was it having someone in his current role with such inside knowledge of your company? And if I can ask Stefano the same thing, you obviously know Audi very well. Did that help in all the discussions the last couple of years?
Well, certainly it did help to have this connection, yeah. But it was also important that we know each other. So that certainly that was one of the very important points. Yeah. But the most important point certainly is a change in the rules that does allow us to do a new powertrain. Yeah.
Adam, nothing to add, I would say. But as I said, I'm very pleased to see that today the direction, the decision has been officially made. So I think it's, as I said, a great step, a great vision, and I'm sure that will allow, once again, through the fact that there will be more and more people, more and more brand involved in Formula One, to put and to raise the bar higher. And this is really what is Formula One. And this is, for me, the best thing that we can take home from today's announcement.
Thank you. Next one.
Hallo Hecker, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Question to Mr. Duesman. Mr. Duesman, do you want or do you need to make money with your commitment?
Making money is always good, but we don't need to.
Next one, please.
Ian Parks, New York Times. To either of the two Audi representatives, it was heavily anticipated that you would announce your chassis partner today as Sauber potentially. Why the delay in the announcement? Are you talking to more than one potential chassis partner, or is Sauber your sole concentration, sole focus at the moment?
Well, there are fantastic chassis partners on the grid, and we did talk to several, and we will inform you when we've decided.
Thank you. Another one, please.
This is for Marcus Duesman. In a couple of days, Volkswagen gets a new boss. Will that make a difference? He's also the boss of Porsche, your rival in Formula One in the future.
Well, he's a fantastic partner in the board. We are colleagues in the board. He's an enthusiast about racing as me, and so we are absolutely aligned on that.
Thank you. Next one.
John Noble from motorsport.com. To Mr. President and Stefano. The history of Formula One shows that it goes through cycles of boom and bust of manufacturers, that you go through periods, a lot of manufacturers, those aren't successful, then leave, and we dip down and we go for that role. Are you confident that what's in place for 26 of the rules and the current state of the sport, that F1 can maintain all these manufacturers for the longer term?
Good question. I mean, yes, I am confident that the sustainability of the PU manufacturers will be there, because what we invested, as I said at the time, to have the PU right is a lot. The negotiation was with the dyno hours, was with the cost cap, was with everything. So we made sure that both sides, the existing manufacturers and the newcomers, have the chance. So we worked it out with all the stakeholders here. So I'm confident that they are here to stay. It's not just a temporary place. Thank you.
Well, I think Formula One, in the history of Formula One, we have been seeing teams coming, teams going, manufacturing coming, manufacturing going. The beauty of the choice that we have taken together is that we are totally convinced that, technically speaking, the choice that we have taken is the right one and will enable, from the technological perspective and from the sustainable perspective, from the economical perspective, to have and to keep on board the actual and very respectful teams and manufacturers, and to add more to this equation. So in this moment, if you look at the life of the cycles, I think we are totally in the positive side of it, and it will be a very long before, hoping later as possible, tackling the other side of it. But now is all good, all great trend, and stay tuned.
Thank you. Another one, please.
Dieter Renken, Racing News 365. To Marcus Duesman, please. There are two routes to team ownership. One is buying and one is establishing your own team. Based on what you've said, can you confirm that you will actually be buying a team rather than starting one and paying the 200 million, etc.? And if so, why, please?
Well, there's a likelihood to have a high likelihood of having a Audi powertrain in an existing car. Yeah, well, it has to be changed, but we won't set up a complete new team. The starting position in development is much better if you start with an existing car.
Thank you, Marcus. Another one, please.
Luke Smith from Autosport. Marcus, a question for you. We've seen Audi's commitment to particular series has varied a little bit. Formerly, he was quite brief as a works operation, but then at Le Mans, obviously, you guys had such a long stint there. From what you've seen from Formula One, are you convinced it's going to be more Le Mans style and a very long commitment to the sport?
Well, the difference to the other racing series is that investment in F1 is bigger. So with this investment, you have to plan long term, and we do plan our F1 engagement very long term.
Thank you. Another one.
Thierry Wilmot, Daily Newspaper Le Soir. What will happen with I'm here. What will happen with your other commitments in motorsport, like Dakar and GT car race, for example?
So I think we were really happy with Rally Dakar, and we were the first manufacturer with an electrified powertrain, and we have the clear goal to win the Dakar with an electrified powertrain as a first car manufacturer, and so we will run the Dakar also in the upcoming years, and we are very successful with our customer racing, with our GT cars, and we are also committed to customer racing in the upcoming years.
Thank you. Another one.
Christian Mehnert, motorsportmagazin.com for Mr. Duesman. When there is a new entry in Formula One, usually they have a timeline when they want to be competitive or winning races or winning championships. What is your timeline in terms of success? Do you want to win races and championships from the first day onwards?
I feel that's not realistic. That would be ideal, yeah. But we certainly have a plan internally what we want to do. But ideally, within the first 3 years, we should be very competitive.
Thank you. And talking of timelines, we are running out of time. We've probably got time for one more question, and we're going to zoom to Alan Baldwin, please, from Reuters. Alan.
Yeah, hi. I want for the Audi representatives. I wonder if you could put a kind of ballpark figure on the financial cost of the project. Clearly, there's a cost cap on manufacturers, a cost cap on teams, but setting up the separate Audi power unit operation, running a team, I wonder if you could just sort of put some figures to flesh out the cost of all this.
Well, we answered this question earlier. We can't answer, or we don't give figures for the whole operation. You know, the cost cap numbers we are operating under, plus the investment, you can guess yourself. But these are pretty high numbers. That's why I said, yeah, it's a long-term investment for us.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you to all four of you. A tremendous day for Audi and for Formula One. I'd like to invite, please, photographers now to go down to the pit lane for a photo shoot with a car. So please make your way down there now. Thank you very much.